We've got some email questions
Let's
from all
go
of you.
for
Are you
it.
ready?
Bring it on.
This is Cindy, who says, is it a sin to talk to a Christian friend about my worries and fears, or should I just keep it between me and God?
Cindy, the Bible says you let your speech be with grace, and to impart hope to the people who are listening to you. You don't want to dump your problems on somebody else because you'll hurt them. Now, if you go to a counselor, you go to a minister or somebody and give your problems, that's what he's there for, and so he can help you. But I think to talk to the Lord, but very frankly, fear is a sin. It isn't a sin to talk about it, it's a sin to have it, to be afraid. Fear not. Perfect love drives out fear, for fear has torment. And Cindy, you need to fill yourself with the love of Jesus. Focus on Jesus. Focus on his love. Focus on how much he loves you. Focus about his power and care. And when you begin to think of that, those fears go away.
You know, I'm going through it, the Experiencing God study with my youngest daughter, and one of the things Henry Blackaby says in there is that we should focus on the first commandment, which is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And when you do that, if that's what you're striving for, exactly what you're talking about happens.
Yeah, exactly.
He becomes bigger than everything else.
And the fear has to go. You can't harbor fear while you're loving God.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Troy, who says, Pat, I've heard you refer to God as Abba and say it means daddy. This is difficult for me since my father was a very negative part of my life. How can I get over seeing God the same way?
Well, I recommend that you pray to him, that you focus on him, who he is. He's almighty. He's ever-loving. He's, everlasting. He's the beginning and the end. And you pray to him as that. And as you focus on that, you can forget what your daddy did. I'm sorry that your earthly father was mean or unkind or whatever he was. But there are a lot of bad dads, unfortunately. And yet God wanted the father of the household to be a surrogate for him. And so when Jesus talked to him, he said, our Father, which art in heaven. So he wanted to identify himself as a father. And I think we have to keep that. But when you're praying, if you've got these bad images, forget your father and start focusing in on the one who created the earth, the one who loves you, the one who died for you, and say these things and worship him and thank him. And read in the Bible some of the prayers that are so beautiful. Prayed to God, what David prayed, in some of the Psalms. Okay.
This is Alexa, who says, several months ago, my dad had to put my mom in an Alzheimer's unit of a nursing home. Mom is doing as well as can be expected, but Dad feels he has no purpose now that he's no longer her full-time caregiver. Are there things you can think of that a person can do, even if they're limited physically, that can give a sense of purpose?
Alexa, the most important thing anybody can do is to pray. And you can be paralyzed and pray. And you can move mountains praying. Today, with the internet, with email, with all the electronic devices available, a person can carry on a ministry around the world, a ministry of helps and a ministry of encouragement. Can you imagine somebody's down and out, and suddenly there comes an email that says, listen, I'm praying for you. God has a message for you. He wants you to know he loves you or something. And you have changed somebody's life.
Yeah, with all the military people, it'd be wonderful if you could write down.
So
I'm sure they'd welcome
But
that.
the idea that you're focused in on one woman, and that is your whole purpose in life, I hate to say that's nonsense, but it's nonsense.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Elliot, who says, I've recently gone through a time of the Lord pruning some relationships and things out of my life. I'm grateful, and I don't want to fall back into my old ways. How does someone keep their heart tender toward God?
Elliot, the secret is keep short accounts with God. You want to be tender. You will sin probably every day. There'll be something that'll come up. And so at the beginning of the day, you confess to God what's going on. And you ask for his forgiveness. And you ask for closeness to him. And then you talk to him. Prayer is talking. And you're talking to the spirit of all the world. And you're saying, I saw this, I saw that, and give me love here, and then look at the Bible and read the Bible. And if you read the Word, let it speak to your heart, and you pray, your heart will stay tender. It gets hard when you sin and don't confess it.
This is Sean who says, why does God call Israel his chosen people? Does that mean he hasn't chosen the rest of us?
Well, Sean, he's chosen us all. He's chosen me to do something. He's chosen Terry to do something. We've all got something to do. But Israel was specially chosen as the recipient of the oracles of God. The prophets, the prophecies, the messages from God came through Israel, as did the Messiah. He had to come from someplace. And those prophets had to come from someplace, and so there was a unified body of belief, and it had to be kept in one tribe, if you will, and then spread out to the whole world. So it was chosen for that, but you're chosen. Just depends on what it is.